Let's put together a roasted cauliflower soup. The flavors in this soup are incredible. The roasting of the cauliflower really brings out a lot of flavor. We're going to roast the cauliflower with potatoes and onions. And then we're going to add some really nice spices and some rice milk later on. When we put it in the blender, it's going to come together as a creamy, delicious soup. What you're going to need for this recipe is one huge potato like this or 3 small potatoes. You're going to need 1 yellow or white onion. You're going to need some rice milk, about a cup of rice milk. I'm using basmati rice milk, which is my favorite flavor. You're going to need a container of vegetable broth, and I like to use organic. Some garam masala, I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly, but it's a beautiful Indian spice. It has a lot of different Indian flavors in it. Some sea salt and pepper, and a couple of cloves of garlic, fresh garlic. And of course, the main superstar in this recipe is the cauliflower. So 1 head of cauliflower that's chopped up. And this is all going to come together for a beautiful soup. I've got the cauliflower cut up and into the roasting pan. I'm going to add I've got the chopped onion, the chopped potato, and the garlic cloves. I'm just going to, this is a pretty small roasting pan, so we're just going to squeeze this in. Doesn't really matter if it's all perfectly stirred around. You just want to probably top that up with the garlic. And now we're not using any oil, so I like to avoid using oil when I can. And instead, I often use vegetable broth. So I'm going to pour half cup of the vegetable broth right over top of everything. And that will be what cooks it all up in the oven. There we go. Just going to put the lid on this, if I can. Close enough. And in the oven it goes at 425 for 30 minutes. When it comes out, we'll go to the next steps. Roasted vegetables are out of the oven and ready to go. What we're going to do is add 3.5 cups of our vegetable stock right into the pot. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of the garam masala that we showed earlier. This is the Indian spice. That's probably a pretty liberal teaspoon. That's more like a teaspoon and a half. And then we're going to add a couple of shakes of this nice fresh pepper and some sea salt to taste. This is going to go back on the stove now. You're going to bring this to a boil and then reduce to simmer for about 10 minutes. And then we move to our final step. So we'll see you on the other side. Now what we do, now that we've let the pot come to a boil and simmer for 10 minutes, we take it off the stove and add 1 cup of rice milk. And then the last step is adding everything into a blender. I'm using a Vitamix. You can just use a regular blender. The Vitamix is just a little bit more powerful, so it'll turn into our nice creamy soup a bit faster, but a regular blender will do the trick just as well. I do about half at a time, otherwise it's just a bit too much. Be careful that your lid is on really tight because the soup is hot. So now it's all blended up and back in the pot, and you can serve it right away, or you can keep it warm just on the stove on simmer until you're ready to serve. And that's it. That's your roasted cauliflower soup. Enjoy it. There's a lot of flavor here, and I think you're really going to like this one.